Willis.
Tell us about Mr. Willis.
Well, Donald Willis, as his physique might suggest, is a guy who likes to throw his weight around. He's a guy who's going to hit and hold and be on the inside. He was stopped by Adnan Shakaram last November, but he's a guy who can make it ugly in there, and he's done fairly well and given rounds to some low-level heavyweights in the past. He's been brought in here to, you know, give a little bit of a test to a guy in his pro debut.
You see Donald Willis out of Windsor, Ontario, 35 years old. Get things started here at the Hilton Lac Limy, Gatineau, Quebec. And now, I guess, I won't say long awaited, but a debut that's been talked about a little bit on this side of the border. Ironically, it's a guy from Las Vegas, and Zach Bunce.
From Las Vegas, Zach Bunce.
Well, here comes Zach Bunce. And you see the T-shirt, the Berman Stavern shirt that Zach Bunce is wearing. Of course, he was the chief sparring partner for Stavern and getting him prepared for Chris Arreola, and we saw how that turned out. Milo Stefan was so impressed with how he handled himself in there with a top-flight heavyweight that he decided to give him that opportunity. He was waiting to make his pro debut for almost 8 months. Now here it is in Gatineau, Quebec.
Well, he doesn't have to wait much longer as we throw it up to ring announcer Pierre Bernier.
The first bout of the evening is scheduled for 4 rounds in the heavyweight division and is proudly brought to you by Oasis Optique. The judges for this bout, Jean de Carufel, Marie-Josée Guérin, et Pasquale Procopio. The referee, the third man inside the ring in charge of the action, Monsieur Alain Villeneuve. Introducing first in the blue corner, he weighed in at 270 pounds. His professional record, 1 win in 3 outings as a professional, and that win comes by way of knockout. From Windsor, Donald Willis. Son adversaire dans le coin rouge, his opponent in the red corner. He weighed in at 221.3 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight he makes his pro debut from Las Vegas, Nevada, Zach Bunce.
Gentlemen, receive my instruction for the fight. Obey my command all the time. Protect yourself. Touch love.
We are getting things underway. Zach Bunce and Donald Willis here at the Hilton Lac Limy in Gatineau, Quebec. Mark Abrams along with Corey Erdman ringside here. Bunce in the white. Willis the southpaw in the black.
Well, Bunce should be as prepared as one could possibly be for their professional debut. In addition to sparring with Stavern, he sparred with Hasim Rahman, Roy Jones Jr., and Ismail Salak of late. So world-class operators in there with him in the gym. See if that translates to real in-ring action.
Willis turned pro in 2008. Then with a first-round knockout, ironically, he took 4 years off before getting back in the ring. This is his second fight of 2013. Coming off a 4-round unanimous decision defeat to Troy Talbot back on February the 2nd.
Was fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, born in Long Island with that typical boxer's upbringing. He said he got into a lot of fights growing up in a rough neighborhood and then decided, you know what, maybe I should try getting paid for something like this.
Bunce tries to land a right, hits a lot of Willis's glove. Not much going on early. Bunce trying to see what Willis is giving him.
Well, this is the kind of pace that Willis could keep up. for the majority of the night, and this is where he wants to be. He likes to hit and hold and make things ugly. That's the best chance he has in a 4-rounder.
Trying to flick the jab out there. Very interesting that Bunce and his team chose a southpaw for his pro debut. A lot of times you'll see prospects and stay away from southpaws in their first handful of fights. Obviously, they've liked what they've seen in the gym out of Zach Bunce.
Well, like a lot of the fights on this card, Willis wasn't officially finalized as an opponent until a little bit closer to the date, so it might have been a case of who's available rather than choosing exactly who they wanted.
There's the first punch of consequence, a little body combination, and there's a ample body of Donald Willis to target. Good combination there from Zach Bunce. Is he starting to, I don't know, maybe shake off the nerves? There has to be, a little bit of that. A hook and followed by a right hand from Zach Bunce as we close in on 20 seconds to go in round 1, scheduled for 4.
The majority of the work here in the opening round from Bunce has been to the body. It seems where he's comfortable going, and I'm sure that was part of the game plan after seeing the physique of Mr. Willis.
Oh, Willis gets in a little right, and he gets drilled by a combination, and down goes Donald Willis right at the end of round 1, and as he's struggling to get to his feet.
He's in the right place. He only needs to take one more step to get to his corner.
End of round 1. Zach Bunce puts a little exclamation point on the round.
Well, if that's probably the confidence boost that he needed. He was looking a little tentative to let his hands go, but I'm sure that will convince him that it's a good idea to do so.
There's a quick combination. Both headshots. We check out the action in round 1.
This is some of that tentative work early on. Bunce kind of reaching with some right hands to the body. Safe punches from the outside as Willis tries to make his way as close as possible where he can do some of his work. Started to gain more confidence, and perhaps it was that shot from Willis that woke him up.
The left hand, a little right behind the head, but the left hand was the big shot as we begin round 2. See if Donald Willis can compose himself a little bit. Bunce is going right after Willis, so the overhand right tries to land a body shot. I think Bunce's corner said it's time to get this guy out of here.
Well, if you're a heavyweight and you don't score a knockout in your first professional fight, people immediately start to ask questions about you, and I'm sure Bunce doesn't want those questions to be asked.
Looks like he's bending over. He's waiting for a big right hand again is Zach Bunce.
Fight a much slower pace, as we mentioned, than he's probably used to in sparring. Getting in there with light heavyweights like Salak, guys like Roy Jones Jr.
Willis now turning orthodox. Good right from Zach Bunce. Left and a right there.
Bunce hasn't had any problem just wrapping that shot around Willis's guard when he puts his hands up. Bunce's coach Mike Maffa calling for an uppercut, but it's that overhand right that staggers Willis for a second time.
Willis coming in with his head down. Not exactly the greatest technique in the world.
And that's what Mike Maffa's seeing. He's putting it on a tee for an uppercut.
Exactly. A nice feint there. Good right hand again from Zach Bunce.
Willis at this point is overcommitting, trying to defend that body shot a little bit. Might be getting perturbed by some of those shots down low.
There's the uppercut and a right, 2 rights to the head from Bunce. Bunce lands a hard combination there. Good right. It almost seems like every time that Bunce wants to step it up, he does well. And now, gets back into a kind of a slow-paced boxing match.
Well, it seems to me that he's trying not to develop any bad habits, because it would seem that if he wanted to just turn up the heat and start firing away, that Willis might not be able to deal with it, but he's trying to do things properly here. Remember, this is a guy who was a very good amateur. He was in the U.S. Olympic trials, so he's not just a big brawler.
Willis tries to land a left to the body. Straight right from Bunce as we come to the end of round 2, scheduled for 4 here at the Hilton Lac Limay in Gatineau, Quebec on Wealth TV. Take a look at Donald Willis. He's kind of got a resigned look on his face already. Take a look at some of the action, Corey, in round 2.
Very composed attack from Bunce, and this was kind of the polar opposite of the first round. The good work was done early on, listening to his coach Mike Maffa and throwing that uppercut straight up the middle, but that kind of slowed things down as the round went on and allowed Willis to get through once again. Willis taking his breaks when he can.
We start round 3, scheduled for 4. Zach Bunce, at least on my unofficial cards, got a 3-point lead. Comes out jabbing to the body.
Willis, being from the border city of Windsor, Ontario, gets to spar with some of the talent in Detroit, so seems to be savvy enough to know how to pace himself and survive a little bit in there.
Good jab there from Zach Bunce. Jab to the body. And a hard right drives Willis into the ropes, and he's going to get a standing 8 count.
Well, Bunce a little bit compassionate there. He could have landed another shot that would have ended this completely.
Got more than 2 minutes to try to end this thing now.
Bunce almost didn't know what to do when he had his man pretty much free-falling to the mat. We'll see if he can make up for that little miscue, but...
Jab to the body there. He's waiting on a big right hand. You can tell he's cocking that right hand.
Well, he had a free one that he could have landed along the ropes, and I'm sure when he looks back at the tape, he's going to wonder why he didn't throw it, but see if he can end the night here anyway.
Willis short with the jab, and he eats a right hand as he tries to get inside.
Good timing there from Bunce, because Willis, as you pointed out, Mark, is just burying his head and trying to kind of ram his way into the inside. He timed it right there with a good, quick right hand.
See, the cup of Willis is almost riding up his back right now. Guess he heard me. Hard right hand again from Zach Bunce.
Bunce's corner telling him not to smother his punches. Give yourself a little bit of room. Some of this is Willis is doing. As we mentioned, he wants to hit and hold. He wants to be here.
Just misses with the left and the right. Zach Bunce. Hard right around the gloves. Just missed with the follow-up right.
Bunce not interested in trying to work on the inside. And understandably, he's better off measuring with power shots.
Good right to the body there, left hook to the head. 3 in the book, scheduled for 4. Opening contest here on Welt TV.
That right hand, and you'll see he has the opportunity, because he hasn't gone anywhere, to land another one. He allows Willis to take the standing 8 count and ultimately get out of this round, but Willis slowed down the pace, just grabbing hold of anything he can on the inside. Yeah, and obviously he hasn't been very impressive.
I think they may be stopping this fight in the corner. Yes. Maybe not. I saw Willis shake his head no.
I believe that will be it, Mark. They are collecting the scorecards.
Yes, there you go. So Zach Bunce gets his knockout in his pro debut.
Doesn't get the highlight maybe that he wanted, but he does the job.
I'm going to ask you to play teacher here, Corey. I mean, last week we've been in town. We've been hearing about this pro debut. Give him a grade.
You know what? I'll pass him in his main event. And it's obvious that he has the skills. I don't think anyone's questioning his pedigree. But he was very relaxed in there. He didn't come out firing away and chasing a knockout, which some observers at home, Mark, might actually think is a good thing, because he wasn't just gunning for a knockout and letting his form fall to the wayside. He stayed true to the fundamentals and did what he had to do. At the same time, maybe you'd want him to land, as we take a look at it, another shot immediately after this one.
That was the punch that got him the standing 8 count.
Well, he's going to have other opportunities to keep it going. He's in a good position. Basing himself out of Canada like this, if he continues to live and train in Vegas, that's where you can get the training, that's where you can get the sparring. But you can also kind of get swallowed up in the vast pro scene out there. He can fight regularly here in Canada if he chooses to do that, and that's what it seems the plan's going to be from Eye of the Tiger Promotions.
And we're always looking for that next heavyweight. He's good shape, and be interesting to chart the progress of one Zach Bunce as we go up the ring announcer, Pierre Bernier.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 3 minutes of the 3rd round. Corner throws in the towel. Your winner, Zach Bunce.
Interesting to hear what Mr. Bunce has to say. Corey, I know you're going to get in position.